there is one thing you should never reveal about yourself. One piece of information, one confession, one moment of openness that silently strips you of power. Most people reveal it without thinking. Some reveal it intentionally, believing it makes them relatable, trustworthy, human. They are wrong, and by the time they realize their mistake, the damage is already permanent. You thought honesty would build connection, trust, respect, but something shifted afterward. Something subtle. The way people spoke to you changed. The way they looked at you, the opportunities that once seemed open, quietly closed. Or maybe it was in a relationship. You opened up about your fears, your insecurities, your past. You believed vulnerability was the price of intimacy. And for a while, it seemed to work. Until it didn't. Until those confessions became ammunition. Until the person who once held you now held power over you. Or maybe it was online. You shared your plans, your struggles, your journey. You documented everything. And slowly, without realizing it, you gave strangers a map to your weaknesses, a blueprint for your undoing. If any of this sounds familiar, you've already paid the price of revelation, and you didn't even know there was a cost. Here is the rule no one teaches you, the rule hidden beneath every social expectation, every cultural norm, every piece of advice that tells you to be open. Be authentic, be yourself. But openness is the surrender of control. Every piece of information you reveal about yourself is a piece of leverage you hand to someone else. This is not paranoia. This is mathematics. The more someone knows about you, the more accurately they can predict you, influence you, manipulate you. The less they know, the more they must assume, guess, hesitate. Uncertainty is the currency of power, and every confession, every vulnerable admission, every moment of emotional transparency is a withdrawal from that account. You may think small revelations don't matter. A minor complaint about your job, a passing comment about your relationship, a joke about your insecurities. But information accumulates. It compounds. It connects. What seems like an insignificant detail today becomes a weapon tomorrow. The colleague who knows you doubt yourself will remember when the promotion appears. The partner who knows your deepest fears will use them when the argument escalates. The stranger who followed your journey online knows exactly where you're vulnerable. And here is the uncomfortable truth. You cannot take it back. Once spoken, words cannot be unspoken. Once revealed, secrets cannot be rehidden. Once someone knows, they know forever. You can apologize, you can explain, you can claim you didn't mean it, but the information is out there now, living in someone else's mind, available whenever they choose to use it. This is the hidden rule. This is what no one tells you when they say, be open. Every revelation is a permanent transaction, and you're always giving more than you're getting. If openness is so dangerous, why does everyone do it? Why do intelligent people, successful people, people who should know better, constantly reveal too much? The answer is threefold: biology, conditioning, and ego. First, biology. Humans are social creatures. This is not a metaphor. Your brain is physically wired for connection. When you share personal information, when you confess something vulnerable, your brain releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone. You feel closer to the other person, safer, more connected. This neurochemical reward is powerful. It's why confession feels good, why vulnerability feels like relief, why oversharing feels like intimacy. But here's what your brain doesn't tell you. The relief you feel is temporary. The exposure you created is permanent. You traded long-term security for a moment of chemical comfort. Evolution did not prepare you for this. For thousands of years, information stayed local. You shared with your tribe, people who needed you, people whose survival depended on yours. The risk of revelation was low, but now information travels instantly. Connections are shallow, loyalties are fragile, and your brain hasn't caught up. It still rewards you for sharing, even when sharing destroys you. Second, conditioning. You've been taught that transparency is virtue. From childhood, the message was clear. Honest people share. Good people open up. Trustworthy people have nothing to hide. This narrative serves society. It makes you predictable, manageable, controllable. When everyone shares openly, social systems run smoothly. Employers know who to promote and who to fire. Partners know who to trust and who to leave. Friends know who to help and who to exploit. Transparency benefits everyone, except you. The people who succeed, the people who accumulate real power, rarely follow this rule. They listen, they observe, they gather information, but they reveal nothing. While you've been taught that honesty means exposure, they learned that honesty is selective, strategic, calculated. The conditioning runs deep. You feel guilty when you hold back, dishonest when you don't share, inauthentic when you maintain boundaries. These feelings are not truth. They are programming, and they serve other people's interests, not yours. Third, ego. This is the trap most refuse to acknowledge. You share because you want to be understood. You want people to see you, really see you, your struggles, your depth, your complexity. This is ego disguised as vulnerability. You believe your story is special, that people will appreciate your honesty, admire your openness, respect your willingness to expose yourself. But people don't admire what they can see through. They don't respect what they fully understand. Mystery creates fascination. Exposure creates contempt. When you reveal everything about yourself, you become ordinary, predictable, boring. The ego convinces you that sharing will elevate you, but sharing only diminishes you. It removes the unknown, the intrigue, the power that comes from being slightly unknowable. Biology, conditioning, and ego. Three forces working against you every single day, pushing you to reveal, confess, expose. And most people never realize they're being played by their own minds, by their own culture, by their own need to be seen. Before we continue, a question. Are you subscribed to this channel? Think carefully before you answer, because if you're not, you're doing exactly what this video warns against. You're consuming without commitment, taking without investing, watching content about power, while refusing the smallest act of reciprocity. Every person who watches without subscribing tells the algorithm this content doesn't matter. Every person who learns these principles and scrolls away weakens the signal that allows this channel to exist. You want to understand power. You want to stop making the mistakes of the weak, but you won't even click a button. If you've watched this far, you already know this content is different. So subscribe, not for me, for the person you're trying to become. the one who commits, the one who acts, the one who doesn't just consume and forget. Do it now, because the discomfort you feel at this request is the same discomfort that keeps you powerless. Now let's make this real. Let's examine the places where revelation destroys you most. The workplace. This is where most power is lost, not through dramatic failures, but through casual conversations, the break room, the team meeting, the after-work drinks. You think these moments are neutral, social, harmless. They are not. Every word you say is recorded, not on tape, in minds. The colleague who seems like a friend is also a competitor. The manager who asks about your weekend is also evaluating you. The conversation that feels casual is actually surveillance. And you volunteer information freely. You mention you're stressed. You admit you don't understand the new project. You complain about another department. You reveal your plans to apply for a different role. Each confession feels small, meaningless, but they accumulate. When the layoffs come, they remember who expressed doubt. When the promotion opens, they remember who seemed uncertain. When the alliance shifts, they remember who complained about whom. You handed them the criteria for your own elimination, and you did it while thinking you were bonding. Relationships. This is where the damage cuts deepest, because intimacy requires some revelation, some trust, some openness. But most people don't reveal strategically. They dump, they flood, they use their partner as a therapist. Every insecurity poured out, every past trauma explained in detail, every fear and weakness laid bare. In the beginning, it feels like connection. Your partner listens, holds you, accepts you, but something is being stored, filed away for later, when the relationship sours, and most do. Everything you confessed becomes a weapon, your deepest fears thrown back at you in anger. Your insecurities used to wound you precisely, your past mistakes cited as evidence of your character. You armed them. You gave them the exact ammunition they needed. And now you're bleeding from wounds you created yourself. This is not about never trusting anyone. It's about understanding that trust is earned slowly, and revelation should match the trust that exists, not the trust you hope will develop. 2. Social media. This is the modern confession booth, except there's no priest, no confidentiality, no forgiveness, just an audience. Watching, judging, archiving. You share your struggles for connection, your plans for accountability, your opinions for validation, and everything you post lives forever. The emotional breakdown you documented at 22 will be found by an employer when you're 35. The opinion you shared when you were angry will be used against you when the culture shifts. The plans you announced publicly will be watched by people who want you to fail. Every post is evidence. Every story is a confession. Every share is a permanent record of who you were, in a moment you can never take back. And yet people share everything. Their location, their relationships, their finances, their mental health, their children. They build a comprehensive database of their own vulnerabilities and hand the password to strangers. The workplace, relationships, social media. 3 arenas where modern life plays out. 3 places where revelation is constantly extracted from you. And 3 places where the costs are highest. Let's talk about what you actually lose, because the cost isn't obvious. It's not immediate, It's slow, accumulating, until one day you realize you have nothing left. The first cost: exploited trust. Every piece of personal information you share is a tool someone can use against you. This is not pessimism. This is reality. People are not evil, but people are self-interested. And when your interests conflict with theirs, they will use whatever advantage they have. If they know your fears, they can trigger them. If they know your desires, they can manipulate them. If they know your past, they can weaponize it. The friend who knows your insecurities will use them to feel superior when they're feeling low. The colleague who knows your mistakes will mention them when competing for the same position. The partner who knows your trauma will exploit it during arguments they want to win. This isn't because they're bad people. It's because they're people. And people use what they have. You gave them information. They will use it. Eventually. The second cost: reduced leverage. Power in any relationship, professional, personal, social, depends on asymmetry, on knowing more than the other person, on being less predictable than they are. When you reveal yourself completely, you eliminate your leverage. They know how you'll react. They know what you'll accept. They know exactly how far they can push. You become readable, manageable, controllable. Meanwhile, they remain mysterious, unknown, unpredictable. The power balance shifts, not because they did anything clever, but because you gave everything away. Negotiations become harder when they know your limits. Arguments become unwinnable when they know your triggers. Influence becomes impossible when they know your weaknesses. Leverage is built on uncertainty, and you destroyed yours voluntarily. The third cost: compromised perception. This is the subtlest cost and the most devastating. How people perceive you determines how they treat you, and perception is built on information. When you control what people know about you, you control how they see you. You can be the competent professional, the confident partner, the mysterious figure. But when you reveal too much, you don't control your image. They do. Every weakness you've shared colors how they interpret everything you do. Every mistake you've admitted becomes a lens through which they view your future actions. Every insecurity you've confessed becomes part of who you are in their minds. You think sharing creates connection. It creates categories. You become the anxious one, the one with family issues, the one who cried at the holiday party. These labels stick. They follow you. They determine opportunities and relationships and respect, not based on who you are now, but based on who you revealed yourself to be once, in a moment of openness that you can never take back. Exploited trust, reduced leverage, compromised perception. These are the costs of revelation, and you've been paying them your entire life without ever receiving a bill until now. So what do you do instead? How do you navigate a world that constantly extracts information from you? A world that rewards sharing? A world that punishes silence with suspicion? The answer is not to become closed, secretive, paranoid. The answer is to become strategic. And this is how. First, conceal your plans. When you have a goal, an ambition, a strategy, keep it silent. The moment you announce your intentions, you invite resistance, competition, sabotage. Some people will try to stop you out of jealousy. Others will try to beat you to it. Others will simply offer advice that undermines your confidence. Your plans are not meant for public consumption. They are meant for execution. Talk about what you've done, never what you're about to do. Let your actions announce themselves. Let your results speak. Let people realize your intentions only after you've already succeeded. This is not dishonesty. This is protection. Your dreams are fragile. Your strategies are vulnerable. Keep them in darkness until they're strong enough to withstand the light. Second, guard your emotions. Your emotional state is valuable information. When people know you're upset, they know they have power over you. When people know you're anxious, they know you can be pressured. When people know you're insecure, they know exactly where to strike. This doesn't mean suppression. Feel what you feel. Process what you must, but do it privately, selectively, with people who have earned the right to witness your vulnerability. In professional settings, your emotions should be a mystery. In social settings, your emotions should be controlled. In conflict, your emotions should be invisible. Let them wonder what you're feeling. Let them guess. Let them never be quite sure if they've affected you. Emotional opacity is a form of armor, and you need that armor, because the world is not as safe as they told you. Third, reveal strategically. Complete silence creates suspicion. Total mystery creates distance. The goal is not to share nothing. It's to share deliberately. Choose what you reveal. Control the narrative. Offer carefully selected pieces of information that create the impression you want. Share minor vulnerabilities that humanize you without endangering you. Share curated details that build connection without creating leverage. Share just enough that people feel they know you, while knowing almost nothing at all. This is an art. The art of strategic presence. Being personable without being penetrable. Being relatable without being readable. Being present without being exposed. It takes practice, observation, patience. But once mastered, you become something rare. Someone people feel they know and trust, but can never quite figure out. That is power. Fourth, embrace silence. When in doubt, say nothing. Silence is almost never wrong. It creates space for others to reveal themselves. It generates mystery and authority. It protects you from the mistakes that come from speaking too quickly. Most people fear silence. They rush to fill it with confessions, explanations, justifications. Let them. While they reveal, you gather. While they speak, you learn. While they expose themselves, you remain hidden. Silence is not the absence of power. Silence is the expression of it. If you want to understand more about how silence can become your greatest weapon, watch my video, 7 Situations Where Your Silence Will Make You Unstoppable. It will show you exactly when and how to deploy silence for maximum effect. The link is in the description, and it may change how you communicate forever. Now, let's make this concrete. 2 archetypes, 2 ways of moving through the world. 1 leads to power. 1 leads to subjugation. The first, the confessor. You know this person. Perhaps you are this person. The confessor believes in radical honesty, in vulnerability as strength, in transparency as virtue. They share freely, emotions flowing without filter. opinions offered without calculation, personal details scattered like seeds. They believe this makes them authentic, relatable, trustworthy. But watch what happens. In the workplace, the confessor is overlooked for leadership, not because they're incompetent, but because everyone knows their weaknesses, their doubts, their limitations. How can you follow someone whose fears you've witnessed? How can you respect someone whose insecurities you know intimately? The confessor cannot lead because the confessor cannot inspire. In relationships, the confessor is managed. Their partners learn their triggers, their sensitivities, their needs. And over time, subtly, the dynamic shifts. The partner holds the cards. The confessor has given them all away. What begins as intimacy becomes inequality. What begins as connection becomes control. In social settings, the confessor is liked but not respected. People enjoy their openness. It makes them feel safe by comparison, superior. But they don't follow the confessor's advice. They don't seek the confessor's approval. They don't wonder what the confessor is thinking, because they already know. The confessor has told them everything. The confessor is reactive, always explaining, always justifying, always processing their feelings out loud. And this reactivity signals something, that the confessor is not in control of their emotions, of their image, of their life. The second, the shadow. Now consider the opposite. The shadow moves differently, not closed, not cold, not antisocial, but calculated. The shadow listens more than they speak. When asked personal questions, they deflect with skill, answering with questions, offering surface details that satisfy curiosity without revealing truth, changing subjects smoothly. You feel like you know the shadow, but when you try to describe them specifically, you realize you know almost nothing. In the workplace, the shadow is respected, not because they're aggressive, not because they're dominant, but because they're unreadable. You can't predict what they're thinking. You can't assess their weaknesses. You can't categorize them neatly. This creates a kind of psychological authority. People defer to what they don't understand. In relationships, the shadow is pursued. Their partners never quite have them figured out. There's always more to discover, always another layer. This isn't manipulation. It's simply the preservation of self, the refusal to give everything away at once, the understanding that mystery creates desire and exposure kills it. In social settings, the shadow commands attention, not by seeking it, by withholding it. When they speak, people listen, because the shadow speaks rarely. When they share an opinion, it carries weight, because the shadow doesn't offer opinions freely. When they reveal something personal, rarely it feels significant, because the shadow guards their personal life. The shadow is not better than the confessor as a human being, but the shadow is more powerful, because the shadow understands the silent law. What you reveal is what controls you. And so, we arrive at the principle, the law beneath all laws, the truth that governs every interaction, every relationship, every moment of social exchange. Listen carefully. What you reveal is what controls you, not what you feel. What you reveal, not what you think. What you share, not what you are. What you show. You can have fears, just don't advertise them. You can have weaknesses, just don't announce them. You can have doubts, just don't perform them for an audience. The moment you speak something aloud, It exists outside you, beyond your control, in the minds and memories of others, where it can be used in ways you never intended, at times you never expected, by people you never suspected. This is not about perfection, not about pretending to be something you're not. It's about protection, about recognizing that your inner world is valuable, and valuable things are not given away freely. They are guarded, protected, shared only with those who have proven worthy, only in moments when sharing serves you, only in ways you have chosen deliberately. What you reveal is what controls you. Say it again in your mind. Let it settle. Let it inform every conversation going forward. Before you speak, before you share, before you confess, ask yourself, is this revelation necessary? Does this serve me or expose me? Am I sharing from strength or from need? And when in doubt, stay silent. Watch. Wait. Let others fill the space with their own revelations, while you remain in shadow, protected, powerful, unknown. If you've made it this far, you're already different from most viewers. Most clicked away long ago. Back to distractions, back to mindless consumption, back to the patterns that keep them powerless. But you stayed, you listened, you absorbed, and now you have a choice. You can leave, close the video, return to your life with new knowledge that will slowly fade without reinforcement, or you can go deeper. In the next video, I reveal the subtle behaviors people perform daily that destroy influence even faster than oversharing. Behaviors so common they're invisible, so normal they're never questioned, and so destructive that they silently sabotage every attempt at power. If you think oversharing is dangerous, wait until you see what else you've been doing wrong. The video is appearing on your screen right now. Click it. Continue your education. Because the silent laws don't care whether you know them. They operate regardless. And the only question is whether you'll be the one applying them or the one destroyed by them. The next video is waiting. I'll see you there.